The Philippines is close to flattening the COVID-19 epidemic curve, according to experts from local research group University of the Philippines OCTA. While the number of cases is climbing, the reproductive rate of COVID-19 is seen to be going down.
It's on a downward trend. Right now, the latest data we have, it's hovering between 1 and 1.1. So that should be cause for something positive, actually, in our view.
Professor Ranjit Rai attributed the decline to the 2-week modified enhanced community quarantine recently imposed in Metro Manila and some nearby provinces.
There was a surge in COVID cases starting July, and it was a serious surge that threatened to overwhelm our hospital system, our health workers.
Experts added the virus positivity rate, or the number of positive cases over total individuals tested, is also decreasing. However, they also projected that COVID-19 infections in the country could reach 330,000 to 375,000 by end September. As of Sunday, August 30, the country breaches the 200,000 mark as the Health Department reported 217,396 total COVID-19 cases with 157,403 recoveries and 3,520 deaths. President Rodrigo Duterte slams Vice President Leni Robredo's critics on government's response against COVID-19. In a 20-minute speech posted on Facebook, Robredo suggested 11 actions that the government might consider to contain the virus, such as mass testing and contact tracing with the help of technology, unemployment insurance for the jobless amid pandemic, and aid for affected industries. Robredo also stated that there seems to be no one in charge of handling the COVID-19 response of the country, and there should be a clear and comprehensive plan as people are losing confidence on the government amidst the crisis.
Hindi mahirap unawain ang sentimiento ng marami, na para bang walang timon, walang direksyon, walang malinaw na horizon kung kailan at paano masusolusyonan ang pandemya. Na para bang aabutan lang tayo ng kaunting ayuda, tapos bahala ka na. Magkulong ka na lang sa bahay at mabuhay ng nangangamba. Nasa atin pa ang sisi pag may nahawa o namatay. Tayo pa ang pasaway. Na parang wala na tayong maaasahan sa mga pinuno. O para ba mismong wala nang namumuno. Na para bang iniwan na lang tayo para intindihin ang isa't isa.
Duterte fired back that Robredo's statements were baseless and called out not to add fuel to the fire for it will just ruin the government.
Please do not add fuel to the fire. You will just destroy government. Well, sa panahon itong pandemic, medyo desperado ang mga tao. Tapos dagdagan ninyo ng mga ganon na wala naman kayong base. Sana maipakita kayo.
Robredo has no response yet with the president's statements. PhilHealth President and CEO Ricardo Morales filed his resignation on August 26, Wednesday, Malacanang confirmed a day after. Prior to the resignation, President Duterte in his public address called out Morales to quit his post.
May mga bagay-bagay po kasi na kinakailangan manatili sa panig lamang ng Presidente at ng mga gabinete.
Meanwhile, PhilHealth Regional Vice President Paulo Johan Perez has been grilled by the Senate panel following the expose of an undated birthday bash that turned PhilHealth office into an office nightclub. In a virtual briefing on Tuesday, Senate Blue Ribbon Committee head Senator Richard Gordon recommends plunder raps against former Health Secretary and now Iloilo District Representative Janet Garin and former Budget Secretary Butch Abad due to alleged misuse of fund for senior citizens members of PhilHealth. Garin slammed Gordon and called the recommendation a big joke, while Abad also described them as baseless, built on nothing but unfounded accusations. Twin blast in Holosulu killed 15 people and injured 58 others on August 24, Monday. According to Lieutenant Colonel Ronald Mateo of the 11th Infantry Division, The first improvised explosive device, or IED, was detonated through a stationed vehicle near patrolling members of Olota's group. The second other was located only 100 meters away from the first explosion, carried out by a female suicide bomber who attempted to enter a bank but was preemptively cushioned by the military. The civil-military relations initially reported 7 killed in action military troops, 4 casualties among civilians, and 19 wounded. Philippine Army later confirmed that Abu Sayyaf Group, or ASG, was responsible of the attack. Alias Nana and Indanay, who are both wives of ASG's former suicide bombers, were identified anew as latest detonators.
In the case of yesterday, we can consider it as conjugal suicide terrorism also because that involved Norman Asuka and the wife. It's really a cause for alarm kasi nga the phenomenon of suicide terrorism in the Philippines has become very frequent and it has involved families already.
Imposition of martial law is sought after manifestations of heightened threat in the region. On the other hand, Senate President Vicente Sotto III and Senator Panfilo Lacson would want to assess the situation first as anti-terrorism law has been laid effective in July. The Mayor Rodrigo Duterte National Executive Coordinating Committee, or MRRD-NECC, is now eyeing Vice President Leni Robredo as the one who could lead the revolutionary government. They are pushing to speed up the process of shift to federalism through charter change. This was after the proposal was turned down by Malacanang. The COVID-19 response is the government's major priority right now.
Unang-una po, nilinaw po natin na ang presidente po natin ay pinuno ng isang constitutional government at hindi po natin kinakailangan ang revolutionary government sa ngayon.
However, MRRD-NECC clarified they will try their best to convince Duterte to rethink his decision as they do not believe in Robredo's capabilities. They also plan to conduct a signature drive across the country which they would present to the president. Meanwhile, the proposal earlier received dissent from several officials as it is deemed illegal and unconstitutional. This includes DOJ, which said that it will probe any complaint for inciting to sedition, as the call suggests the tearing down of existing political institutions and may lead to social disorder. Last August 25, PNP Chief General Archie Gamboa said that he has directed the CIDG to investigate and determine if there is any basis to sue and arrest the people behind MRRD-NECC, which is respected by Malacanang. Following the series of players' protests and players opting out to boycott the remaining of the season, NBA together with the NBPA, the Players Association announced last Friday that the bubble will resume and instead, there will be changes in making social justice statements. Milwaukee Bucks players declined to play last Wednesday after the police shooting of James Blake and was then followed by the Houston Rockets and Oklahoma City Thunders boycotting their Game 5 matchup, leaving the NBA no choice but to postpone the scheduled games.
Over the last few days in our home state of Wisconsin, we've seen the horrendous video of Jacob Blake being shot in the back 7 times by a police officer in Kenosha, and the additional shooting of protesters. Despite the overwhelming plea for change, there has been no action, so our focus today cannot be on basketball.
This protest led to meetings with the team owners, NBA executives, and the players themselves to figure out what to do and what changes to make in the league. Eventually, the players decided for themselves to continue playing. James Blake was shot 7 times in the back by the police in Wisconsin State. The shooting reminiscent of the killing of George Floyd while in the police custody last May that led to protests all over the state, calling out the racial injustice that is still demonstrated in the country. Missing good old times? Hordes of Filipinos spammed Harvard University Facebook page last week with shared posts and comments about their alleged experience in the Ivy League university. Some even took their time to edit themselves on Harvard University's photos to make it seem that they had actually studied there. While it is clearly evident that they are just gags by Filipinos, this has caused the said Facebook page's likes to increase by 5.6% and its total engagement on the last 4 posts to reach a staggering amount of 18.6 million combined comments, reactions, and shares. Until next week, this has been Explained Express, delivering you the most pressing issues straight to your fingertips.